that Mr. Sessions should not have recused himself in the Russia investigation, you begin to see a real pattern. The new White House communications director initially was saying the president and the attorney general needed to get together and talk about the future. But this morning on the Hugh Hewitt show, he suggested perhaps that relationship is now irreparable. Listen.
It's clear the president wants him gone. I have
an enormous amount of respect for the attorney general. But I do know the president pretty well, and if there's this level of tension in the relationship that's public, you're probably right.
One thing I think really telling in the last 24 hours, the president appearing at the Boy Scout Jamboree in West Virginia yesterday. Not in attendance was the Attorney General, who is himself an Eagle Scout. On the other hand, another member of the cabinet who's also an Eagle Scout, Rick Perry, the Energy Secretary, was right there on stage with the president. Poppy, back to you.
Joe John to the White House. Thank you very much for that. Let's bring in our panel. Mark Preston, our senior political analyst, is here. Rebecca Berg, a CNN political analyst, and Steve Vladeck, CNN contributor and law professor at the University of Texas. What a morning. Not a slow summer morning whatsoever. Mark Preston, to you. As John Berman puts it, he got up, he had his orange juice, and he went to work. Another attack on his attorney general, and then his chief of communications, Scaramucci, basically saying, you're probably right when Hugh Hewitt asked he wants Sessions gone. What do you make of it?
Well, a couple things. One is, let us not describe this as the new norm, because this is not normal. This is not how the leader of the free world should be acting, and this is not somebody that I want my children necessarily to be looking up to. Look, reasons they've never played it out in such a juvenile way on social media, and I think we have to call a spade when it is. What Donald Trump doesn't understand about Washington is that there is a little bit of loyalty left in this town, specifically in the United States Senate. You had 51 Republican senators. Every Republican senator voted to confirm Jeff Sessions. One Democrat did, Joe Manchin. If Donald Trump thinks that he can bully Jeff Sessions out of his job as the Attorney General and then turn around and force the Senate Republicans to then get his new pick for the Attorney General through, I think he's got another thing coming, because I do think what's going to happen is that Donald Trump has now or is going to soon realize that you cannot alienate all of your allies in Washington.
You know, Rebecca Berg, let's look at this from the other side. How can Jeff Sessions stay at this point? How can he put up with this? Or, I suppose, you know, will he do it now just to spite the president, just to prove that he's, you know, big enough to stick it out?
You know, it really is just a question of whether Attorney General Sessions can put up with this kind of public abuse from the president, perhaps at least this week on a daily basis. The president, and Scaramucci has suggested as well, that the president would not want to himself fire Jeff Sessions, that he just wants to take this passive aggressive approach to kind of alienate him and then push him out of the office. But you have to consider that Jeff Sessions gave up a very safe Senate seat. He could have had that Senate seat for life, essentially, to take this job as Attorney General. It's a job he cares passionately about. So I think there is going to be a high threshold for just pushing Sessions out of this job. But you have to imagine it's very frustrating for him at this moment. He is one of the cabinet members tasked with a huge share of President Trump's agenda and enacting that agenda. And for him to try to carry out what the president wants to actually get done in his administration at a time when he's butting heads with the president and the president is calling him out on Twitter, you have to imagine he's in a very difficult position right now, showing up to work every day.
So, Steve Vladeck, to you as the constitutional legal scholar on this panel and someone who's written a lot about it, including a lot of comments today in the Washington Post, if Sessions goes, however he goes, if he goes, wouldn't the next Attorney General be subject to the same limitations, meaning you can't be part of an investigation that has something to do with the campaign if you were part of the campaign, or if you testified to something having to do with that, i.e. Russia meetings, that then wasn't true? I mean, aren't these same limits still going to apply? They wouldn't have free reign.
I think that's right, Poppy, if we assume that whoever succeeds Jeff Sessions is going to have to be confirmed by the Senate. I think what's really interesting here is there are a couple of mechanisms through which the president could theoretically appoint either a short-term or even perhaps a permanent successor without going through the Senate, where he might be able to get someone who is much more sympathetic to him, much more skeptical of special counsel Bob Mueller's